Hello everybody, today we'd like to welcome you to our next presentation and to our webinar, and today focus is the DC chain hoist. Today's presenters is Carsten Daft.
Hello, my name is Carsten Daft and I am the brand product manager here in the Demag world.
And me, my name is Sebastian Justus. I am an area sales manager and we are both part of the indirect business of Demag Cranes and Components. And these small CR codes directly lead to our business cards in digital form. So today's presentation at a glance, we start with a short introduction, then we go into the Demag chain hoist portfolio. I will show you the technical features. We will have some examples for applications. We will shortly show the online tools, and we will end the presentation with the summary. Our production site was and still is the birthplace for several innovations and productions well known worldwide. Demag is manufacturing for more than 200 years, always in Wetter, with an experienced and highly engaged team. Our chain hoists are reliable tools for all industries. Of course, we can still deliver classic chain hoists to simplify the work and lift goods. But from decade to decade, ideas and innovations made the DC what it is today. The industry standard for chain hoists with many options and application possibilities. We are manufacturing our chain hoists with the highest standard for almost 70 years in our plant in Wetter. This plant in Wetter was and will be home of the DC chain hoists. The next generation Demag chain hoists will set the next milestone in the chain hoist market. We are proud to say that we have a high vertical range of manufacturer, with our own production for mechanical components as well as our assembly and testing. Demag chain hoists are assembled at Wetter plant. A double-digit million investment helped to modernize the plant in the last 2 years. We are now manufacturing all group chain hoists and ship them worldwide. Further components, for example, our KBK light crane system, DMR rope hoists and gears and wheels are manufacturing in Wetter as well. So let's now come to the product portfolio of the DC chain hoist. We have different sizes for different applications. The smallest one is the DC Com, available for up to 2 ton. The next one is the DC Pro, which is available up to 5 ton. Then we have the DCS Pro, which is available up to 3.2 ton, the DCM Pro up to 500 kilogram, and the DCBS Pro up to 160 kilogram. The complete range for DC chain hoist is quite big. The smallest one can lift up to 80 kilogram, and the biggest one I have the possibility to lift up to 5 ton. To achieve this, we have 7 different sizes of chain hoists, and we can offer the hook path up to 180 meter, for example, in windmills. The FEM group for chain hoists, or the range of the FEM groups for chain hoists is wide as well. So we start with an 1 AM, which is possible for operating hours up to 800 hours, and we go to 4M with operating hours with 6,300 hours. We have 2 different types of lifting speeds. One is the pole changing 2-step lifting, and the other one is the frequency inverted stepless lifting. The pole changing lifting is possible up to 24 meter per minute, and the stepless lifting is starting from a very slow creep lifting up to a maximum of 30 meters per minute. The travel speed is also possible in several speeds, and the highest speed we can offer is the 40/10 meter per minute. For precise handling, we have the DCS, which starts with a creep lifting speed from 0.05 meter per minute. And we have a special Pro Hoop function in this case, which means the maximum load can be lifted with 100% lifting speed. And if we then, at the rated speed, we can increase this up to 90% higher than the normal lifting speed, so when there's only partial load or without loads. To avoid load vibration during the lifting, we have acceleration and braking ramps programmed inside the lifting electronics. The benefits of the DCS for you to fulfill your requirements is we have a very smooth operation for precise positioning. We have adjustable acceleration and braking ramps. We have adjustable hoist speed from minimum to maximum. We have an automatic switchover to the creep lifting speed when the hook is before the highest or the lowest position. And a control pendant with progressive characteristic, which means the further you push the button, the faster the load is moved. And you can always program these parameters with a pendant control, so it's not necessary to remove the hoist from the crane down or to climb up the crane for these adjustments. Coming now to the DCM, the DC manual lift, which has various possibilities for different load handling attachments. It is very easy to change from one load handling attachment to another load handling attachment. In this case, you see on the one side a more simple one, and on the other side a load handling attachment with an own gripping system so that you can either grip shafts or complete containers. And here in this video, you can see how easy the change of the different load handling attachments is for the DC manual lift. So it is possible to move the load with one hand and move the switch with one finger. And here you see that just one load handling attachment is released and then moving to the other, which is then connected very easily to load different loads. Here we have another example, the DCBS. And I would say the video shows very detailed how the DCBS works. Let's now come to some technical features and some basics of the chain hoist. So here you can see the chain hoist is a bit cut off to see the inside of a chain hoist, and I explain now some of the inlays here. So we can start with the control board, which is here in the background. The control board is the connection to the electric box and has all the electric information inside the chain hoist. Here at the end, we have the brake. Next to it, we have the pulse wheel, and both are maintenance-free. Below, there is a status display, which can be seen from beneath, and Carsten Daft will show this in his presentation afterwards. And here we can see the adjustable control cable, which makes it very easy to adjust the control pendant to the accurate height. On this side, we see here, there's the service compartment, not quite good to see from this side, but it's very easy to detach this and maintain the electrics from that side. Carsten also tells something about the chain guide later on. At the end, we have the fan, we have the high-performance motor inside, and we have the slipping clutch. Both the high-performance motor and the slipping clutch are maintenance-free as well. Then here we have a mounting position, or we have different mounting positions for electric gearbox outside, and the gearbox itself is maintenance-free as well. The next part then is the chain sprocket, and I would like now to hand over to Carsten in the showroom showing you the chain sprocket.
Thank you, Sebastian. Let's have a look under the service cover and see what's inside of the hoist. For this, I just open the service cover, and here we see this robust chain guide is made in a sandwich way. With the metal cave and the plastic parts, it's very easy to assemble. Here I have placed several different chain types. For example, here the first one for the chain hoist size 1 and 2, the curved one for the heavy industry, for example, and also for the larger chain hoist sizes. Here you see the stainless steel version for the food industry, for example. Please keep in mind that we need here, because of the material, the double load capacity. Here also more types of chains, and these special golden one, here we have more information during this year for you. Something special is here also on these chains. We are thinking about quality, we are living our quality, and we believe in our quality. And so we stamp our chains with our Demag logo. Every 10th chain piece is stamped with our logo.
Yeah, thanks Carsten for that. Coming now to the different control types for the DC chain hoist. So here you can see a short overview of the different control types we have. The standard is the 3-state control. We have these in our DC Com and our DC Pro, and that is the market standard we provide for our customers. As well, there's possibilities for direct control, which is in the DC Pro DC, and as well we have contactor control in the DC Pro CC. What is also possible is that we provide the chain hoist with frequency inverters, either as frequency inverters from Demag, but it's also possible to use customer frequency inverters. The advantage of the 3-state control is that there is a very high degree of operating safety, because we only have control voltage of 24 volt. There is an automatic safe cut, so that the load is stopped automatically in a case of a blocked chain or when there is an overload. We have operating limit switches for the highest and for the lowest hook position, and there is also speed monitoring control of the slipping clutch. We have one control system for all of our DCs, and we can use this control system for all 3 directions of movement. Additionally, it's said that the 3-state control makes the service easy as well, because there is an operating time counter and there is an infrared interface for making service, so it's not necessary to remove the hoist from the crane. And with these features, we can do preventive maintenance, as there is, for example, a display which shows the amount of switches for the contactors. And now Carsten will show you the status display in the showroom.
With the 7-segment display, we see the status of the hoist and also the arrow marks. In the moment we see number 8. With this number we see the emergency stop. When I open the emergency stop, we will see some other signals. The U112 shows the software version of this hoist. Also, when I'm moving, lowering and lifting the hoist, we will see this in the display. And also when we hit the highest position, we got the mistake error E1.
The chain hoist itself is very robust designed. Here we have a short video which shows this in a very good example. Then the big benefit, nothing of this chain hoist was broken. So even after this hard impact, there was no damage on the control board. And For example, if there would be smaller parts like the conductors or relays broken, then it's very easy to change them, to replace them for further use. Now we're coming to the technical features of the control units, and therefore, again, I switch over to Carsten in the showroom, showing the different control units.
Thank you, Sebastian. Here is the DSC pendant for the moving in each direction, lowering, highering, and also the movement for the crabs. The next one, the DSK, for the conventional controls. In case you don't want to work with a cable, of course we have also a remote control. Here the small remote control with 6 buttons, so 2 movements, emergency exit and horn. Also with the display. And now here the bigger one, the DSE 10 with the shape of a banana. It's a really ergonomic solution. Last but not least, with the control pendants, the DST. Here the DST 7 with 2, 4, 6 movement directions and the emergency exit. But in case you want to work very free, we have of course also the remote control with the joysticks. This is a really ergonomic solution when you have to operate the cranes for many, many hours. Much more easier to push the joysticks than the buttons.
Okay, back again from Carsten. I would like to show you now the different suspension types and trolleys. The DC has a fixed suspension, which is available for loads up to 1,250 kilogram and possible for beams with a flange wheel of 200 millimeters. Here you can see this fixed suspension, this black plate just mounted below the I-beam and then is fixed and screwed together with these clamps. The DC trolleys are now part of Carsten again.
The first trolley is our ClickFit 5 trolley with a load capacity up to 500 kg and a flange width up to 91 millimeters. The next step is our U11 trolley with a load capacity from 1,100 kg. Here we have the solution also U1 with a capacity of 1,000 kg. Keep in mind that the flange width is individual adjustable for you. The next step is up to the U22. Here we have a load capacity from 2,200 kg and also the flange width individual for your needs by using this screw and open, widening and lowering the shield of the trolley. Also for the higher load capacities we have the right solution for you. The EU34 trolley with a load capacity up to 3,500 kg. Also with this extremely long shaft, the individual possibility to fit your need to your flange width. The next step is a trolley for the load capacity up to 5,600 kg with the RU56 trolley. You have in your production facility extremely low headroom and you need the chain hoist with a maximum of lifting height, no problem, with our solution of the KDC. With the KLDC, with a longer distance between the trolleys, we have also the solution for the big pack solutions. If you need an extended version, no problem, the distance between these trolleys is also raisable up to a maximum of 2,500 millimeters. Also, in case of using long material, we have the right solution. With these KLDCD, you have the possibility To lift and transport your long material with individual length, we are able to deliver this hoist with different kinds of distance between the hooks.
The next part now are some examples for applications. Most of you, as our customers, already know this, but we hope to reach with these webinars or with these videos also some new customers. So therefore, we just made a short comparison between a chain hoist, which has a load capacity up to 5 tons, which is more compact and which has a lower price. And on the other side, we have rope hoists. Our rope hoists have a possibility for a load capacity up to 100 tons. They have a higher FEM, they have higher lifting speeds. But here are good examples for a chain hoist and a rope hoist, which are installed at the same customer. So you see, for every need on customer side, we have the correct application. Here are some examples of applications, and as said before, yes, for sure, we can install the DC hoist in our cranes inside the building, but as well outside. And lowest temperature DCs are used is -20 degrees and 80% of air humidity. Our DC hoists are often used and well used in case of ergonomic lifting. For example, here the DCBS hoist with the load attachment used in the production to ergonomic move goods from one working place to the other working place. We have special applications like this here. This is used in the food industry, and it's a quadro hoist installation where 4 chain hoists are connected together to lift this load within the food production. We have our well-known KBK light crane system, which is used for many applications in production facilities, and it's very easy to attach the DC with several trolleys in the KBK cranes. But chain hoists can also be used in very extreme conditions. For example, here in hot temperature, up to 45 degrees. We have the possibilities to offer extreme heights up to 180 meters, as you can see here for the use in windmills. DC hoists can be used in the food industry. Here you have examples when there are people in dangerous, or when the goods are moved in dangerous conditions for the people working with it. And DCs are also used in galvanic plants or in picking plants. On the next slide, I would like to show you some examples of manufacturing in Russia. This is a Mercedes factory in Russia, and this is a complete KBK installation. And the parts of the car are moved with DC hoists through the complete manufacturing area. The next part I would like to show you now are the online tools. The fastest way for configuring or for buying a chain hoist is that you go to our website, and there you have the possibility to direct enter the Demag shop. And in the Demag shop, all our product configurators are listed, and from that list you need to choose the chain hoist configuration on this side, and then a new software is opened which shows the configuration tool for the DC chain hoists. It's very easy on this side to make calculations because you can just start with the few informations, like for example the hoist capacity, but you can also, if you already know what you want, start entering here the mounting code, and then coming at the end as a result to your complete configuration. If you just use the first selection, that means select chain hoists from our product line, from our favorite product line. Therefore, you can, or with this option, you can select chain hoist with a very short delivery time. And here on the last picture, you can see the result of our chain hoist configuration tool. So you have the information, the technical information in the upper part. You have the listed options and the prices there as well. And it's also possible to get CAD drawings or a technical description from the hoist you have calculated. Last but not least, the summary of our presentation. So as you can see here, we have a lot of benefits using DC chain hoist in your facility or in your production. But I would like only to mention a few. So first, I would say, yes, one of the most important things is there is long life service. Some of the parts are maintenance free, and for some, the next maintenance is only available in the next or up to after 10 years. The next I would like to stress is the safety. We offer many options for increasing the safety while using the hoist. One would be the lifting, the limit switches. Others are, for example, the advantage of ergonomic use for the DCBS or for the easy changing or load attachments for the DC monolift. What is also important for you for calculating further costs for using a chain hoist is the reduced service costs, because the DC chain hoist in general is easy to use. So, one DC chain hoist, all possibilities. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for your patience. Please stay in touch with us. Goodbye.